Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of Filmmaking. God, I forgot the name already. Filmmaking Production Diary. There's something wrong with Mayo. I'm your host Miguel Ortega, and this is my co-host Tran.
Hey everyone.
So we couldn't make it last week because we had to go to Annecy in France. Hey everybody, let's see who's here. Jacob, sweet intro. Yes, it is very sweet. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Let's see. Shay, third. Hey, hey. Second. We have Alex. Chase.
First.
First. Where's the fourth? Where's the fourth? Kevin Roman. Ricardo in the house. What's up, guys? So, yeah, thanks for joining. So, yeah, we were at Annecy, which is a big animation festival. Unreal asked us to go over there and talk about the stuff we're working on. And so we went over there. It was amazing. So thank you to Unreal Engine. We did two talks, one about the projects we worked on. So The Voice in the Hollow, which is a previous short film we did, and the one we're working on now. It was a great audience reaction to the Threadlings, which is the one we're working on now. There's Something Wrong with Mayo, is the name of the episode. And then Tran had one by herself. What was it about, Tran?
It's being a student to professional.
Yes.
Like, how do you cross that?
How do you
threshold?
cross that threshold? Yeah. So it was pretty cool. It was all about demo reels and pretty much showing off a lot of Gnomon student work, which was amazing. Like always, Gnomon stuff is the best. Except Ricardo's work. I'm just kidding. I was showing people your demon shot right before I left. Ricardo, people really liked it. I still think it should have won Best of Term. Shay, hi from South Africa. Hey, hey. We got accepted recently to a film festival in Africa, the Swahili Film Festival. So that's pretty cool. And then Angie, hola, what's up? So yeah, so everybody, thanks for joining us. So this week we don't have a lot to show because we were over there in France, but we'll show you some of the stuff that was being worked on while we were away. So this is the rig for our moths. So these guys are gigantic. So our little characters.
It's really heavy too.
It's very heavy. The characters are very small in comparison to this. Let me see if I can import one of the guys. Let me just find it.
It's much greater than life size. So the topology is much more dense, especially since we can't use displacements.
Yeah.
It took a while to just UV it.
It took a while to do everything.
To do everything from retopologizing to UVs, and I'm sure it took a while to rig.
Yeah. Let me see if I have this here. Give me 1 second. I'll show you guys how big this guy is. Where's my OBJs? So there it is. So this is without the clothing.
Yeah,
you can see they're pretty freaking massive. Let me see if I can show you one other thing here. So those that haven't seen what this is, I'll just show you a quick little peek. This is some of the stuff that we showed at Annecy. So let me just get rid of some stuff here. I don't think I do have it right here. I think I have it.
Are you looking for the clip?
Yeah, I thought I had it, but I don't see it.
It takes a while to get back up and running, at least for me.
Yeah, we just
eventually.
got back, so our brain is still not fully functioning. Well, I'll just show you just a few images, but well, I can just open this with let me see. Open with yeah, I can't figure it out. You can see it's these little guys running. So it's basically these little dudes.
That's super annoying.
Yeah, it's super annoying. These little guys against the giant moths that want to eat them. So you can see if you look really closely, they're all made out of fabric. So they're all little cloth characters, and the idea is basically like it's kind of like Fraggle Rock with xenomorphs, is what we've been saying. Let me see if I have another one here. This is caught. You can see this little guy is super cute, but they're all made out of fabric. So it looks like skin, but it is fabric if you look close enough. There's like thread patterns and whatever. So these are our two main characters. You can see he looks really funny without his costume. He looks like an emoji face. But
Yeah, he does look like
yeah.
an emoji face.
But that's them. And then these are the evil moths. So this is the first time I'm really looking at this rig. So we just got it again while we were away. So we had to do some changes to the model, unfortunately. So this was done by Vague Sadan, who's an amazing modeler. I retopologized it and Tran. Well, I UV'd it and you UV'd it as well.
Yeah.
So we both UV'd it. And then the problem is there was so many spikes that the wings had a lot of issues. It basically couldn't move because there was always a spike interpenetrating it. So we had to adjust that. So I'm just taking a look at some of the joints here. Okay, so that's, I'm gonna see if we can smooth that out. I don't know how much we're actually gonna do that on the wings, but let's take a look. So that's pretty nice.
There's some pinching in that stuff. I guess part of it is because the mesh is pretty dense. Like if you look at the top, there's like a pinch
Where?
up on the upper leg. Well, like closer to the where it attaches. I can't see that angle at all. There you go.
Right there.
Select the mesh.
Yeah, I see it.
Yeah. I think this is much tougher to skin because it's so dense.
Yeah. So we have that. Let's take a look at these guys here. So we have some claws. That's great. I'll show you some really nasty phallic stuff here, which I think is so awesome. So, all right. So this is his, I don't know, what do you call it? His
stinger.
His stinger.
Except it like lays,
yeah,
lays eggs.
So this is where he's going to inject them with larvae, but you could see so that's as the larvae are coming in and coming out. Really nasty. And you have total control here, so you could scale this to like an absurd amount, which I probably want to put limits on this, but you can see
it's really gross.
It's really gross, yeah. And then yeah. So pretty awesome.
Just picture how they are gonna be. They're also gonna have like hairs and stuff like that on them.
Yeah, for sure. So that's let's take a look at the tail.
That bend's pretty nice.
Yeah, that's pretty awesome.
Yeah.
Okay, that's great. Let's take a look at his little nose thing. So this has a similar thing. It has a pump. There it is. And let's bring the scale of this down. So you can see, you just feel like it's sucking up stuff or something, which could be pretty cool. So you have that. You have
some twisting.
things to spin it around, twist it around.
That's pretty cool.
That's pretty cool.
Oh, that's pretty cool too.
That's great, right?
Yeah.
So you have a lot of fun with that. Let's take a look at this here. So again, I'm getting to know this myself. So this is the first time I'm seeing it with you guys.
This is like the brain bug from Starship Troopers. This comment. I don't know what the brain bug looks like.
No, the brain bug from Starship Troopers is very different. It's got that thing looks like a train. It's just like a big head. I know because that used to be at ADI. They literally had it on a wall, and then Phil Tippett Studios worked on it, and yeah, but it's a very different. I know why you're saying that, because the big head, this right here, but from a distance, this looks more like a mosquito, I would think, than that.
Can you rotate the head a little bit more?
Yeah. I mean, we're not going to get a lot of head rotation. Like, I figure the head rotating is going to be like that. But yeah, that's definitely a concern.
Yeah.
But I'm not worried about it, because I think if the head ever turns, it'll be turning at the camera.
I think you have to put limits on it. Otherwise, it's going to be turned like that when you hand it off. And then that's going to be problematic. Like, I think it can't move its head that much. And without the limits, it's going to be delivered like that.
Yeah. Okay, so let's take a look at this here. Just some of the teeth.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. So we have that tangent right there. That's got to be addressed. Let's and this is the thing that everyone has to do when they get a rig. You have to kind of break it and then tell the rigger to fix it. Okay, so let's take a look at these guys here. It feels a little off that XYZ is going in the opposite direction, so I have to check into that. So there is an FK-IK switch. I think this guy will probably be done entirely in IK. We need the FK-IK on the humanoid characters, because we're using mocap, but for this, I think they'll probably do it all in IK. Okay, so pretty cool. Let's see these guys here. You know, this is going to be a pain in the ass to animate, because there's so much stuff that could interpenetrate. And I think it is going to interpenetrate with stuff no matter what. But I just think this is the type of thing where we have to fold it however we want the rest pose to be, and hand that off to the animator, so that they know, like, hey, this is your rest pose. or else you may get something that you don't want. So that's something that we've learned is
Yeah. Also, like, I wonder how rigid you want the wings to be, because like a lot of these wings they're almost like fabric when they flap, like on a real moth.
well, I would love it if they could bend. I mean, that's why we have that. But that deformation is not very smooth at the moment.
Yeah, it's probably still working on it.
So we have to address that, because if we could get this to bend naturally, then the spikes don't become that big of a deal, right? Because then you could kind of have it kind of bend back towards the ends rather than here. But yeah, that's some of the stuff we have to look into. So all right, let's take a look at the antenna. You know, this looks like a nightmare to rig.
Yeah, this looks like a lot of work. It's a
Let's take a look. Oh yeah, the motion blur is going to look amazing. Is it possible for Geo to deform on itself to avoid collision? Yes, there is, but it's not something that you would want, because you don't want the animator to have to be doing a simulation while he's animating. So there is, but probably you don't want that. So even on like high-end movies like Transformers and stuff like that, just so you know, like when you see the Transformers turn from a car into a robot, none of that actually is really working in a physical sense. It's all just interpenetrating with motion blur.
yeah, and they're actually two separate models completely.
Yeah.
So it's not like I don't know. When I was a kid, I had a Transformer toy, and it actually transformed from a robot to like whatever. I don't remember what it was. It was like a plane. But on Transformers, you'd have two completely separate models. You'd have a car, and then you'd have the robot, and then the animator would be given, here you go, here's the car, here's the robot, and then they would just make it work and hide a bunch of geometry. It was all like completely fake.
Yeah. So check this out. This is pretty cool. This is 45 cents. When I move this one, it's really cool how all the legs stay in position.
That is really cool. Wow, that's really neat.
It makes you wish you could animate, right?
Yeah, it does.
Like, oh, that's pretty cool.
It's bad I'm not good at animating at all, or basically can't animate.
Bobby says motion blur will look nice on the wings. Yeah, it's going to look super cool. So yeah, so that's this guy. So I'm actually going to just write the comments right now. So I'm going to take some screenshots.
So you
I'll
can see
just
the
do it,
part.
right?
Yeah, just see the process.
Yeah. But you can see we have to fix that. And this always happens. You know, I think riggers, they're so overwhelmed, especially with a monstrosity like this that is so heavy. When you look at the wireframe here, that at the end, you know, certain things
It's a lot of work.
they need to come back to.
Yeah.
But first pass, this is pretty promising. The one thing I want to try to do is create some sort of blend shapes so that there's stuff moving in the mouth area, in this area here. Not unlike what somebody was saying earlier. Jacob was saying how it looks like the Starship Trooper bug. There's a lot of movement going on that thing's face. So just having some of that stuff would be great. Having some of these like little cavities look like they're pulsing.
Yeah,
that would be kick-ass.
nice. I also think really important to limit the neck, the head, because I really can see problems there, like that. I don't want to shot model that.
Yeah.
Because they're going to turn it for sure past where it should be.
Yeah, so that's this guy. So that's pretty cool. And now we have one more here, so I'll show you guys this. Let me just get this thing.
I mean, how flexible is a moth's head anyway in real life? Like, do they really like move? Do they really have any like thing like a neck going on in a?
Probably not.
Probably not, right?
No. So just animators don't usually like limits.
Yeah, but like if something doesn't bend a certain way, it doesn't bend away.
Yeah. So I'm extracting a zip file for the other rig. So let's take a look at that one.
It's a question. Is this a giant moth? Yes, this is a giant moth.
Yeah, it's a giant moth. So that's the size of the, well, it's not a giant moth. Our world is just miniature. And in our world, the moths eat these little characters. That being said, our world is not really like Earth, right? We're just kind of doing whatever the hell
Well,
we want.
if these guys compared to human, they'd be, I don't know, much smaller, like Smurf size or something like that.
It's Smurfs, yeah.
Yeah. And these moths would be huge. Not human size, but pretty big.
I think Smurfs is a great example of what we're going for, just much more violent. So, okay, so this is our professor. So let's just take a look at this. So this is our FK. So again, we're looking at the rig for the very first time with you guys. So clothing will be all simulated after the fact. So we have them weight the clothing just preliminary, just so we can kind of see what the hell it looks like volume wise, but we're not going to criticize that because
because it all will be simmed.
We're not going to use that at all.
Can you hide the clothing?
Yeah.
Or at least just a yeah.
Let me find the clothing. So you can see he's missing an arm because he was attacked by a moth when he was younger. I'll put the clothing back on for now. Because it looks so much better with it. Okay. And the blend shapes for this are being done by our good friend Shraga, who is facial lead at Blur. Oh, that's pretty nice. See how when I pull it, it actually feels like it's
it's pretty cool.
It's very nice. All right, let's see the hands. Ooh, that looks like it's in an odd place, right?
Well, it's hard to know unless you hide the clothes.
Where did the clothes go? There it is.
Oh yeah, that's weird.
Is that
That's the pivot is in a weird place.
Yeah. Okay, so that's got to be addressed. Let me write down the notes right here. So again, this stream, the whole thing about this is we're showing the process of making an animated short film in Unreal, and it's not really tutorial based all the time. This is just like a real world view of how it's done. So the one thing that Tran and I always outsource is the rigging. So this is us literally reviewing the rig for the first time and writing down our notes. So I have this here. So rip pixels off. Okay, so that's that. So let's keep going. So head rotation. down. Oh, that's very weird.
Yeah, it's odd. But it's like stopping or something like that.
So head rotation weights are bad when rotating up or down. Let's take a look at side to side. It's just are bad.
Just, yeah.
They're just bad when rotating. Okay. Again, this is all part of the process. So clavicle, that looks fine. Clavicle. Just doing a little dance. That's fine. That's fine. So let's put this back. Let's rotate the head back as well.
What's that top one at the top?
This is the head.
Oh, okay, that was the one you were using.
And then this is the eyes. So that's weird. The eye rotations don't seem like they're working. Usually you should be able to move this. There might be some weird controller here. All right, so let's take a look at this. So let's go to IK now. We could select this, and now you can see we could move it IK.
Oh yeah, it's got, but it still has big, really weird weighting.
Yeah.
Are you taking screenshots too, or just notes?
I'll take screenshots later.
Yeah.
Yeah, all of this needs to be addressed. And we are doing a lot of corrective shapes for this, but I don't want to rely on that for everything. So let's take a look at that. That's very nice. Let's take a look at the fingers now. You got to check all this stuff. If not, you will suffer later down the road.
I will suffer. And then you will suffer because I will complain the entire time. So, yeah.
Okay, that's great. The weighting of the hands on Voice in the Hollow were the absolute worst. So it's good to see this. Usually the thumb that gets messed up, so we'll check the thumb. Thumb is really complex.
Complicated, yeah. Thumbs are super complicated. Because they can rotate around and then they bend. So
you could see here, like the thumb just seems to be able to rotate on one axis, but it's not actually correct.
yeah, it needs to kind of do this.
To a single axis. All right, so that'll be addressed. That's fine. So
Can you see how the feet bends? Like the toes?
Yeah, I'll take a look at that in a minute. Let me just see this here. Gungan style. All right, let's see these guys here.
Yeah.
So remember, we don't have a lot of, since we're doing this with mocap, we're not going to have a lot of rotation here.
Or they bend like socks, so right?
Yeah.
Have some flexibility.
Looks good.
Yeah.
So
How about when they raise their heel? How about the heel? Is there a heel like a tiptoe pose?
like that.
Yeah, but put the toes back. Because that was like a thing in Cots feet.
Let me open it back up. How does the outsource process work? Do people bid? Yeah, that's exactly how we do it. Donated his last 2 brain cells. What is that?
I don't know.
Let's see. So the question is, how does the outsource process work? Do people bid? Are you locked to a certain number of iterations? It's not locked on iterations. The way we do it is you're flat bidding for the project. Usually, anybody that's working with us at this point, it's people we've worked with for a long time. They know that we're not a big company. They want to work on our stuff because our stuff always gets finished. What you notice is a lot of people in
Did
this.
you see that pop?
Because I did undo.
Oh, is that what it
That?
was? No. Go back down. Did you push it? Maybe.
That?
No. Was it undo like that? There you go.
Yeah, but I'm making it go the opposite direction.
Is that okay? So it's not supposed to do that.
Yeah. But then it should have limits.
Yeah. Gotta give animators limits. I don't care. Right.
No, but you're right. I mean, why can't I rotate that? I mean, technically you shouldn't rotate up, but yeah. So that is foot rock. So they know what they're working on when they're working with us. So they know we don't have a ton of money. They know that we're gonna deliver, we're gonna get it done. They're gonna be proud of it. So we have to flat bid because we're not a big company.
Yeah.
So a lot of people, the last project we did, no one got paid a lot of money, but we ended up winning an award at SIGGRAPH, so it's pretty cool for the people that did participate. Check the foot rotation; it's exploding. The negative. All right. So that's that. So let's see what else. So let's look at the IK on the feet. So that's IK. So now we have to see where is the controls for that. So that's set to 0. And now this is entirely FK. You see that works great. Check the foot rotation.
Yeah, that looks good.
FK stuff usually has less issues. Luckily, most of the stuff is going to be in FK because we are using mocap for everything on the humanoid characters. So that's good. Again, I see that the weighting on the clothing is messed up. It doesn't matter because that's going to all be simmed. Let's take a look at this one more time. I just want to make sure there's not some control here. So the jaw, that would be shot, that would have a blend shape that would be driven by this. So the mouth pose would be much more art directed.
Yeah. He's got funny teeth though. He has like a big gap.
Yeah, he's got a big gap between his teeth.
So he's cranky, but he's kind of cute in his own way. This looks completely locked.
Yeah, it's completely locked. So let's take a look at this. All right, well, that's good. And the other thing I do is I just move this just to make sure nothing is blowing up. Okay, so let's see. Wrist pivot seems off. It's bending really weird. Tran, any thoughts?
Now I'm reading your notes.
High rotation is not working.
Can you check more of the body without the clothing? Like some of the torso stuff.
Without clothing?
Yeah, hide it. And then just play with those controls.
If you don't test this stuff, you will pay the price later.
I will pay the price.
You know?
I will.
All right, let's see.
Oh, what's going on with the feet? Well, maybe it's not supposed to do that. Or
It's the FK, IK.
so that's what it is.
Let's see.
Bend them forward. Bend them backwards and forward, like a bow. There's some weird stuff there. Like that stomach. Do the second one. Yeah, that's a weird pinch.
Do that and that.
Does that need a corrective or something?
Yeah, I probably would just do that with a corrective. You get them to do that, and it's just you want to art direct that and have the.
Yeah, he's kind of got like a tummy.
Yeah. All right, so let's close this up.
What do those two rings around the neck do? That's pretty cool.
These guys?
No, the
This?
big rings. Yeah.
That's the neck.
Okay. Twist them. It's called twist it to the right, to the side again. Yeah. Is it collapsing a little? Or is it just being twisted too far?
That's pretty good. That's pretty good.
The volume, it loses volume a little. I mean,
This is the one that's broken. Seems to me like the head rotation should really be rotating almost from here. So that's FK head.
can you show the clothing again?
I love that his arm is missing.
I feel like that neck thing is gonna cause me trouble later. Collar. But we'll figure it out.
Which one?
That funny collar he has.
This thing?
Yeah. That's not a rigging problem. That's a me problem. That's a Tran problem.
Okay, cool.
Maybe
So,
he just didn't see some of the issues because he had the clothing on.
yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
And again, this is his first pass. It looks good.
Mm-hmm.
We've never gotten a rig first pass that is perfect on anything. This is the one that's really weird though. Like, what the hell is that?
Yeah, it feels like the pivot moved into the wrong place or something. Tired.
Okay, so eye rotation controls. So I'm just going to make sure that I'm just using the correct name on everything so that there's no... Right, so that looks pretty good. So I'll save this. So yeah, so that's that. And then we have our moth, like I showed you earlier. And that's really, we don't have a ton to say this week because we were away up until this morning. We got back this morning, essentially, or last night, really late.
Yeah, and I get super jet lagged. I don't do well on planes.
But next week we should have a lot more stuff to talk about. We're anxious to get really cranking on this guy now because we just this project, we've just been so busy with film festivals and all this other stuff, but we can't keep going to those things. So right now we're just like, we just got to crank this thing out. And
Yeah,
seeing people's reactions to what we were showing was very positive. So we just want to...
I didn't know that the Annecy Film Festival was so big in the industry. Like it's huge for just the whole animation industry for the whole world.
Yeah, it was crazy. You go to parties and like the owners of every animation company were there, right?
Yeah, like
Richard Taylor is like hanging out right next to us, who runs Weta Workshop, the heads of like Passion Pictures, Studio AKA, Real Effects. I mean, just crazy bunch of Pixar guys. We met a bunch of directors that were at our panel. Really nice, really nice. Everybody was really cool.
Yeah, really cool people. It's the first time I've seen a festival that's like that.
So well put together.
It is the most organized festival I've ever seen. It's like perfectly organized and prepped, and everything runs like a really well-oiled machine.
Yeah. And they take over the entire city. I mean, the whole town becomes an animation, like what is it, like a playground, and all the parks are theaters, and everything's animation, animation, animation. France is just France seems to really love animation, and they really seem to love comic books also. So it's pretty cool. That's like basically the only thing we bought were comic books. This African mask that is what we based the Voice in the Hollow on. We saw like the real one, which is really cool. Let me pull it out.
Yeah, he'll pull it out. Let's see, comment. I've never heard of Annecy Fest until you both spoke about it. I appreciate it. Well, I didn't know so much about it either. It really is the most impressive festival I've ever been to because it is like a festival in a traditional sense where they are showing a bunch of they're showing shorts and they're showing feature animated films. So they have that whole thing. And what they also have is a bunch of panels, like professional panels and different talks. And then they have a whole section where it's like all these studios have these booths, very professional looking, like kind of what you almost see like a SIGGRAPH, where studios are there and there's a bunch of students trying to show their portfolio, like certain booths were really, really popular. It's full of professionals, really big guys, and it also has a lot of students there too. So they're all mixed together as one big crowd, and I've never seen anything like that.
So this is the mask that we got. So you can see it's. Let me just pull this up here. So you can see it's based on. So we got this from a street vendor, and if you've seen The Voice in the Hollow, which is our previous film, it's basically all about these masks. That's what the characters are after, and this is what we based it off. And they're very hard to find. So we tried to buy them on eBay, and they're so expensive. So when we saw this on the street, it was still very expensive, but it's pure bronze, and it uses this thing called the lost wax technique. So it's made with wax, then they cover it up with sand, and then they pour bronze into it, and then the wax is completely melted. So the next one they do, they have to do it completely over.
So they're only able to make one
Yeah, they
cast.
only make one. Heavy as hell. And when I saw it, I couldn't believe it, because this is exactly the one we use as inspiration for the main ceremony. They have like this bib, which is the more rare ones, this stuff here. And if you look at the logo of our film, it's basically inspired by this. The one thing that we don't have is this bird, but I thought it was pretty cool anyway. So
Yeah,
yeah.
and it is from Africa, so it's not some kind of trinket, a street trinket.
Oh yeah, this was not a train. This was expensive. I think we paid like, what did we pay for this? Like $300 or something.
No, it was more than that.
Like $380 or something. It was expensive.
Yeah, it was expensive. So, very cool thing that we happened to run into.
Yeah, I couldn't believe it. We these things we've seen them on eBay for like $2,000, $1,500, and it just was too expensive. But when I saw this, they tried to charge us that initially, right? And I was like, brought it down. So
Yeah, your mom was a really good. Your mom was,
negotiated.
yeah, she's really good at haggling.
Yeah.
So, here's a question here from Jacob. What are some of the best animation film festivals you recommend to go for industry juniors? You really, if you want to save your money, go to Annecy, because it's full of students and full of professionals. And, there were like a huge group of students trying to go to like these booths. And again, it's not just a couple of booths. It's like a whole building with multiple floors full of booths to explain it. Was it 2 or 3 floors? And they were showing their portfolio, talking to studios. So there's all kinds of stuff that's happening. And I wasn't really participating in that because I wasn't looking for a job or anything like that. And I'm not a student. But you might really like it.
Yeah, the thing I will say is, if you're looking for a job, I think if you're in Europe, Annecy's the one to go
Yeah.
to.
If you're in Europe, you definitely, or if you're not in the United States.
Yeah, but I think if you are in the United States, I think I would go to SIGGRAPH.
Yeah.
So SIGGRAPH would have more of the US-based companies in Canada, and then Annecy would be all the international people. I didn't see a ton of American students there.
No, because it's just a different thing. Yeah.
It's just very far. It's expensive to fly to southern France.
Yeah, I think that's right. But if I liked Annecy for other reasons too. It's a really beautiful country and a beautiful town.
The French take their animation seriously. They totally do.
Yeah.
And their comics, they take it very serious. Like the comic book stores in France are so incredible. The artwork is so amazing. So
yeah, they have a whole street. Like if you go to Paris, there's the Latin Quarters, and it's full of just comic book stores. Really,
right off of Notre Dame.
And yeah, it's just a different take. You see a lot of French comics, and they're really beautiful. Like the drawing, the art is like really incredible. I wish I could understand French. Like the stories seem very adventure based. So that's the kind of stuff that I like. But I can't read it. So yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, we bought a bunch of them, and the guy was like, "Oh, but I only have issue 1, 2, and 4." And I was like, "I don't care. We can't read what the hell it says anyway." So
yeah.
The order doesn't mean anything to us.
No, but they look like things that we'd be totally into, and you don't see so much here.
Yeah.
Very like fantasy adventure, or some of it looks like very Jules Verne inspired too.
Yeah. So this is our little characters. Let me see if I have the professor here.
Well, there's another set of renders from the professor that I should pass over to you because I like that one more.
Oh, I don't even think I have
It's probably
any of them. So
yeah. Well, it's on the little thumb drive probably. So this is what we showed on the panel. So I did a small panel with about students becoming professionals, and then the really big panel was the one Miguel and I were on, and it was multiple filmmakers doing animated shorts. So I guess I think there was 4 of us, basically 4 different shorts and projects. And it was very interesting to see, and the room was really packed. You can see a lot of professional interest in using Unreal for animation.
yeah, I don't have the other one. I think this one's just caught by himself. Yeah.
That one's old. That's the Lumen render. So you could play it again if you wanted to. The difference between Lumen, that
Yeah, it's
one.
got much more fill.
Yeah.
God, Mayo looks so awesome there. That smile. But yeah. So I think that's all we have this week. So we just have an hour this week. Again, we just got back, so we apologize to make it short after we didn't do it last week. But next week we'll have a lot more, and we'll bring in some guests and really get cranking on this thing now that.
Well, we
Yeah.
have a break, so we have a couple weeks break from teaching, which usually gives us more time.
Yeah, it gives us a lot of time.
Yeah.
It's not that.
It's not like it's a.
But it's a psychological thing, right? It's the shifting from like teacher mode to working mode.
Yeah, it's like I don't know what it is. There's just something about like once you get into the flow of it.
Yeah.
So.
All right, guys. So we will see you next week, same time. Like I said, we're not going to be going to much more festivals, so things should be moving much faster from this point on. Cool.
Yep.
Does anybody have any questions or any thoughts or anything before we go?
That Lumen render really looks dramatically different to me.
Richard Taylor, next guest. I wish we could get Richard Taylor. I was too intimidated to go talk to him. I didn't want to be a fanboy. But next time. I would have totally fanboyed out. So, yeah. All right, guys. So if you want to follow our work, follow us on YouTube in particular. We would appreciate it, and we are going to be at SIGGRAPH at the Dell and NVIDIA booth. So we'll be there for 3 days, showing some Voice in the Hollow stuff and some of our Threadling stuff, which is really cool. Dell is helping us out and supporting us and supporting the Gnomon stream, which is really cool. So thanks to them, and of course thanks to Alex Alvarez, who supports us with all this stuff.
Yep.
And yeah, we actually have something for Alex. So if you're listening, Alex, we have a present for you from France. So yeah. All right, guys. Oh, what is that?
It's a link.
The link to what?
I don't know. I thought you pasted it. Oh,
Oh,
our
it's our
channel.
channel.
Okay. All
Oh,
right.
thanks.
Thanks, James.
So James is behind the scenes guy.
Yeah, who's stuck listening to all our streams.
Yeah.
he's the one who's seen like everything.
Yeah.
So thanks, James.
All right, guys. Yeah, thank you, James. So we will see you next week, same time, and thanks again.
Bye, everyone.
So
We'll be back next week with more to show.